Question 19. The diagram shows 4 rods. Each rod is made of different metal: copper, brass, silver, iron. The wax is used to attach a small metal ball to a rod at end P, Q, R, and S. Each rod is same size. They are heated uniformly by a Bunsen burner at point X. As the rod warms up, the wax melt and the balls fall off. Why does the ball on silver falls first? On metal silver, white falls first. So this is related to conduction. They are transferring energy faster. So it shows that silver is a better conductor than other. All are conductor, but silver is a better conductor or best conductor of heat in these four. That's why the wax will melt first. Question 20. 4 cups A, B, C, D contain a hot coffee. Which cup keeps the coffee warm the longest? Look, dull and dark surfaces are good absorber, and shiny and smooth surfaces are good reflector. So 4 cups are there containing a hot coffee, which cup keeps the coffee warm the longest, means for a greater period of a time. First thing, it should be covered with lid, so you're left with A and C can be answered. Then when you compare the outside surface, if the outside surface is dark, then both possibilities are there. It can absorb energy, because dull and dark surfaces are good absorber and good radiator of heat energy. So it will absorb greater amount of energy and it will radiate greater amount of energy. So if it is absorbing and radiating greater amount of energy, then the coffee will not remain hot for a longer period of a time. So if it is a white, then it will not absorb energy or radiate energy, it will reflect. So it will remain hot for a longer period of a time. So C is the right answer. That's why in winter you're wearing dark color clothes. What is the reason for that? Because dark surfaces are good absorber and good emitter. So it will absorb greater amount of energy and it will re-radiate greater amount of energy. Question 21. Which row correctly describe the light waves? So light waves are transverse. It means the vibration is perpendicular to the direction of vibration is perpendicular to direction of the wave. Question 22. The diagram shows a part of a diffracted wave pattern. The changes are made to the wavelength and the gap to produce a semicircular, means basically what they means we want more diffraction. What should we do to increase the diffraction? So here the gap is bigger and the wavelength is shorter. So what we should do? We should increase the wavelength, and we should, because if we keep the gap, we want the maximum diffraction and the wavelength is approximately equal to gap size, or when a gap is slightly smaller than the wavelength, slightly smaller, or even slightly larger, that will also. But when the gap in the barrier is larger and the wavelength is same, so this will be less diffraction. Larger gap and a small wavelength, so again there is a big gap difference between them, so same gap is same, but we increase the wavelength, so until the wavelength matches with the gap size, and it will increase the diffraction. And if the gap is same and the smaller, if we keep the gap same and we reduce the wavelength or make it much smaller, then it will not make any difference to the first one. Question 23. Which statement about a thin converging lens is correct? Means convex lens. So when we check the statements, all rays of the light refracted by a lens passes through the principal focus. Not all of the rays passes through principal focus, only the one which are parallel, they will pass through principal focus. But the one which is passing through the center of the lens will pass straight. So this statement is not correct. All the rays initially parallel to the principal axis are reflected through the principal focus. That's true, because if the rays of the light are parallel to the principal axis, they will all converge at one point, and that point is the focus. So B is the right answer. Why? Because the parallel light rays always pass through focus. The focal length of a lens is the distance between the image and the principal focus. That's wrong, because focal length is the distance between the center of the lens to the point where all the light rays converge. That is called a focal length. The focal length of a lens is the distance between object and the image. That's again totally wrong. The object and image distance is not equal to the focal length. Question 24. The diagram shows a white light passing through a prism. With description of what happens as the light passes in, which description of what happens as the light passes into the prism is correct? Question 24. White light, which is a combination of the 7 color violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange and red. When we draw the normal is perpendicular to the surface. Violet bends the most and the red bends the least. What is the reason for that? Because the speed of the violet decreases more as compared to speed of red. That's the reason why the change in the direction for violet is more than red. So the statements, when we read the statement for question 24, the speed of the red light is less than speed of violet light, and the speed of the red light is less than speed of violet light, and red light is the least refracted. But when you compare, the speed of the violet decreases more than the speed of the red. That's why the violet bend more. When I compare, like in air, all are traveling with the same speed, that is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. But in a glass, the speed of the violet is less. That's why it diffract more. It try to cover the same in a short time. So if the speed of the violet example is 1.5 into 10 power 8, the speed of the red will be a bit more because it is covering a longer distance, or it refract less. So it will be 2.5 into 10 power 8. So statement A is wrong. What about the second? The speed of the red is greater than the speed of the violet. That's true. And the red light is least refracted. That's also true. The speed of the violet light is less than the speed of the red light, and the violet is least refracted. That's wrong. And the speed of the violet light is greater than the speed of the red light. That's again because when you check, the violet light is the least refracted. The violet light refracted the most. And why it refracted the most? Because the change in the speed of the violet is more than change in speed for the red. Question 25. Which row gives the possible values for speed of sound? So when you compare question 25, because approximate speed is around 330 to 340, in liquid is about 1500, and in solid is about 5000 meter per second. This is average speed, like approx, but not all solids have, in all the solids the speed of sound will be same, but in this order about 5000. So when you check, these answers are too big to be in air, like you're left with, because in air or a gas it should travel slower. So either A can be answer or B. And then when you check the order, in liquid it's about 1500, which is approximately closer value is 1450. That is why A is the correct answer. And solid about 5000. Question 26. A police car with its siren sounding is stationary in heavy traffic. A pedestrian noticed that although the loudness of the sound produced does not change, but the pitch varies. Which row describe the amplitude and the frequency? So amplitude, loudness is same as amplitude, and pitch is same as the frequency. That's why B is the right answer. Question 27. related to magnetism. A piece of steel is slightly magnetized. It is hit several times with a hammer. Which effect will have this on steel? Which effect will this have on steel? Look, when we try to demagnetize, we can demagnetize by heating, by hammering, or by passing an AC. And when we are demagnetizing, we are making sure that it is perpendicular to the Earth's magnetic field, 90 degree to the Earth's magnetic field. What is the reason for that? Like example, if a material is magnetized, and if we want to demagnetize, we should always place in a east-west direction to demagnetize. What is the reason? So that when we are heating or hammering it, so the Earth magnetic field is not able to magnetize this. So we should always place a 90 degree or perpendicular to Earth magnetic field to demagnetize. In the option, if the steel is parallel to the strong magnetic field, like if it is same as a strong magnetic field, so it will not be demagnetized. The domains will be aligned according to the external magnetic field, so it will become stronger. And if we place 90 degree or right angle to the weak magnetic field, so what will happen? It will lose its magnetization or it will be demagnetized. So whenever you want to demagnetize, you should always place perpendicular to the external magnetic field or Earth's magnetic field. Question 28. Which diagram shows the pins are deflected? 28. Look, this is totally wrong. Why? Because this is north, south, south. So they should repel. Again, this is totally wrong. This is the correct one. Both like poles repel, and north, north, and south. So this is totally wrong. So C is the right option. Question 29. A negatively charged plastic rod is brought near to uncharged metal sphere and held there. What happened? So there is a negatively charged rod. Which is placed close to a metal sphere, and then when the metal sphere is earth, what will happen? That's the question. So like charges repel each other, the electron are forced to go out. So electron positive charges or ions cannot move because of their size. The only thing, the particle which is able to move is electron. Question 30. What is the definition of EMF? It is energy supplied by the cell to drive a 1 coulomb charge around the circuit. Because EMF, electromotive force, is work done per unit charge. So energy supplied or work done by a cell to drive 1 coulomb charge around a complete circuit, that we call as EMF or electromotive force. Question 31. Four wires are made up of same metal. Which wire has the greatest resistance? Resistance is directly proportional to length and resistance is inversely proportional to area. And area and diameter, because area is equals to pi r square, area of cross section, or pi d square by 4. So which wire is having a greatest resistance? We want a thinner wire, so diameter should be small as possible and the length should be large. So A and B have a longer length, and which one is a thinner? A is a thinner wire, so A is a right answer because it's of 3 millimeter only. Which circuit in which circuit is there just a single lamp lit? Question 32. You have to keep in mind that direction for a diode. When the current is coming from the side of a diode, it allows, and when it is coming opposite side, it will block that. So for 32, when we check, this will allow, the current will flow through this one as well, both. So both lamps will light up. So this is not the answer. In this one, it completely blocked the current. So if it completely blocked the current, none of the lamp will light up. What about C? The current will come from here and then this will block, so the current will flow through this lamp. So only one lamp will light up. What about D? It completely blocks, so both of the lamp will be off. Question 33. A student uses 4 ammeters P, Q, R and S to measure the current in different parts. Which 2 ammeter reads the largest current? The total current enters the circuit is same as the total current leaves the circuit. So if I say example, if you want to understand, you can use a number. Like example, if 3 ampere is entering, then out of the 3 ampere, because it's a parallel, so current will divide. So 1.5 flow here and remaining 1.5 will flow here, the other branch. And then it will return back. So same amount of current will return back 3. So which ammeter read the highest value? Always the ammeter which are next to the battery, they will always reach the highest value because they are detecting the current which is coming from the battery, the source. That's why P and Q reads the highest value of the current. Which combination of a logic gates gives the truth table as shown? Look, for OR gate, to get the result, you will add. For AND gate, to get the result, you will multiply. For NOR gate, you will add and then invert. For AND gate, you will multiply then invert. And then for NOT gate, which is an inverter, you just invert. So you have to check which one it matches with. Look, when I check if X and Y are 0, 0 and 0, this is the OR gate. 0, 0 for OR gate, it will be 0. And then it passes through inverter, so it will make it 1. So it matches with the first one. But because we have to check all about it, we don't have to just check one of it. You have to check all logics should be correct. What about the second logic when you check 0 and 1? So 0 and 1, it will be 1, and 1 passes through inverter, so it should make it 0. But it is making 1, so it means it cannot be circuit A. When you check for B, so 0, 0, because it's an AND gate, multiplication 0 multiplied by 0, it's 0. Passes through the inverter, what it will make? It will make it 1. So means it follow the first line. But it's not like only one logic you check. You have to check the all logic which are given in the truth table. When you check the second logic, 0 and 1, 0 and 1, it will be 0, and 0 passes through inverter, it will make it 1. So it means it follow the second logic as well. What about the third logic? 1, 0, it will make it 0, and passes through inverter, it will make it 1. So that it is following the third logic as well. And what about the fourth logic? 1, 1, it will be 1, passes through inverter, it will make it 0. So it is following the fourth logic. So all the logics are right for this table. Don't be confused, like maybe some of the logic might matches with some of the circuits, but you have to check all of the logics. That is why B is the right answer. Why not C? Because when I apply the logic 0, 0, 0, 0 is 0 for AND, but passes through inverter, it will make it 1. And then it passes through inverter, so it will make it 0. So the first logic is not fulfilled. That's why it is wrong. What about D? 0, 0, it will be 0 and passes through inverter, it will make it 1. And 1 passes through inverter, it will make it 0. So again, D and C are not the right one. So correct option is B. To get the answer, the right answer, you have to check all the logics given in the truth table, not by a single set of result. A transformer is there. It's needed to convert a supply of 240 volts AC to 4800 volts AC. What should be the suitable turn ratio? This is VP, VS. We need turn ratio, means the formula VS over VP equals NS over NP. You need the turn ratio. You need NS over NP. For 35, what's the right answer? So VS over VP is equals to NS over NP. So VS is 4800 and VP, the voltage of the primary, is 240. When you solve them, the simplest ratio between them, because you have 4800 and 240. So basically the simplest ratio is 20:1. So which ratio means NS over NP should be 20:1. So when I divide NS over NP, 1000 divided by 50. When I solve this, I will get 20:1 as a ratio. Because the turn ratio for a transformer, the formula for transformer is Vs over Vp is equals to Ns over Np. So for transformer, the voltage ratio and the turn ratio is always same. So what is the voltage ratio? Voltage ratio 4800 divided by 240. So when I take a voltage ratio, it is 20:1. So the turn ratio should also be 20:1. Means the number of turns of secondary divided by number of turns of primary, I should get 20:1. So when I divide Ns over Np, means 1000 divided by 20, 1000 divided by 50, the ratio will be 20:1. But for others, the ratio is not 20:1. That's why they are not the right answers. The turn ratio and the voltage ratio for a transformer is always same. Is it clear? Question 36. The diagram shows a part of a long current carrying conductor. Which point this is the magnetic field strongest? The wire is carrying a current, so as the wire is carrying a current, it will produce magnetic field around it. The question is which point we have a stronger magnetic field? So closer to the wire, the field lines are closer, so means stronger magnetic field. That's why C is the right answer. A beam of particle move through a magnetic field. In which situation do the particle experience the magnetic field? The particle must move perpendicular to direction of magnetic field like 90°, then they will experience the force, otherwise they will not experience force. So these two cannot be an answer. Why? Because they mention parallel. Either C can be answer or D, but why D cannot be an answer? Because it's a neutron. There should be a charged particle which should move perpendicular. So C is the right answer. Because the particle should move 90° and the particle must be a charged particle. But if it's a neutral particle, it does not experience magnetic field. Which statement is correct for a nucleus of any atom? On the term any, it's highlighted. For any atom, the nucleus contain electron. That's totally wrong. Electron is outside. The nucleus contain the same number of proton and neutron. That's also wrong, because if you take example of lithium, it is having 3 proton, 4 neutron. So they may have a different number of proton and neutron. That's also wrong. The nucleus has total charge 0. That is also wrong. Why? Because the nucleus contain a proton and neutrons. So nucleus is always positively charged. A nucleus cannot be a neutral because nucleus contain proton and neutron. Neutron does not have any charge, but proton is positive. That's why the overall nucleus will be positively charged. The nucleus is very small compared to the size of atom. That's true, and that is a Rutherford experiment that he suggests that most of the alpha particles are able to pass through, and he concluded that major portion of the atom is empty, or the size of the nucleus is very small compared to the size of the atom. Two beam of radiation P and Q enters an electric field. Which type of radiation are P and Q? So P is deflected towards positive, so it is negative, it means electron or beta, and Q is deflected downwards, so it is positive or alpha. And the last one, which equation represent a beta decay of a lead 209? When there is a beta decay, the atomic mass remains same and atomic number increases by 1. Because one of the neutron breaks into proton and electron. The general equation for a beta decay, an element X is there. When it emit out beta, the atomic mass will remain same, but atomic number increases by 1. And beta is a product, not the reactant. Basically, it is